Aradhana Malik and I am helping you with this course, and in this lecture we are going to talk about editing and proofreading. So, we finished writing our paper manuscript, we have revised it, we have removed or we have we have taken care of the common mistakes that we tend to make. Now, we are going to edit it and proofread it and get it ready to submit to a journal. Okay, the editing checklist. How do we do this? The editing checklist, this is again from Excelsior College. While editing, editing is different from revising. Editing means you go through after you have revised it, then you look at it once again and make sure that you haven't really, that you are trying to get it ready for your publication. So, just check whether you have check to make sure that the spell checker did not change any words that you did not intend to write. We use spell checkers, we use these automatic these programs in our computers. Have I looked closely at my sentences to see if any words are missing? So, go through it, make sure you have conveyed what you wanted to convey, make sure you haven't inadvertently removed the information that you intended to keep. Did I review the rules for grammar and punctuation? So, is my grammar okay? Is my punctuation okay? Did I include citations for all my borrowed information? Again, we have been harping on this. You must acknowledge the borrowed information. Now, after you have done this, you move on to proofreading. Your document is almost ready. What do you do? What is proofreading? Proofreading is the act of searching for errors before you hand in your final document. Before you proofread, what must you do? You must be sure you have revised the larger aspects of the text. So, you have revised, you have gone through it, you are getting ready to submit it, you proofread it. So, make sure you revised the larger aspects of this text, your arguments are strong, you have looked at opposing points of view, you have taken care of the mistakes. So, you have done whatever you need to do to make the document as strong as possible. Then, set your paper aside between writing and proofreading. You have written it, you have revised it, you go for a break, do it over a weekend, go to sleep, and then think about it, sleep over it, take a break, enjoy yourself, do something fun that relaxes you, and then come back and look at it with a fresh eye. So, take a break between your final revisions and editing and your final proofreading. Eliminate unnecessary words before looking for mistakes. Know what to look for. You must know what you are looking for: mistakes, grammatical errors, formatting issues. Wherever you submit, the journal that you submit to will have its own method of formatting. You have to adhere to those concerns, you have to adhere to the word limit. So, make sure at this stage you are trying to cut down, you are trying to prune your document. Pruning is a term that comes from gardening. Pruning means you cut off the additional extensions of branches. So, you prune your document to fit into the requirements of the journal. So, you must know where to prune, what to look for and what to remove. Review your list of references. Please make sure that the end of text references match the in text references and vice versa. Make two separate lists or highlight them like I told you, but that is absolutely essential. Some strategies to help you identify your errors. Work from a printout, not from a computer screen. It is always easier on the eyes. Working, you will say, okay, I do not want to waste paper. Do not waste it in the initial stages, but while proofreading, sit in a comfortable place, have your, remove all distractions and maybe sit with a cup of coffee or tea. No alcoholic beverages, please, but something that relaxes you, maybe a glass of water, juice, something to help regenerate, rejuvenate you, and then read and be as relaxed as possible. Look at it with a critical eye and use a printout. Read out aloud. So, read out whatever you are doing, read out loudly to yourself or have someone read it to you. Use a ruler or blank sheet of paper to cover up the lines below the one you are reading. So, read everything line by line. Takes a lot of effort, but it helps. If you tend to make many mistakes, check separately for each kind of error. For example, you must have noticed when I have shared these slides with you many times, I either forget to open the inverted commas or close them. So, I have my TA look at it and proofread it, and this is one kind of mistake that I often make despite my best efforts. When I am making my slides, I know I have to give credit, so I make sure I put the reference, but then I forget. Either I open the inverted commas and forget to close them, or I close the inverted commas and forget that I have not opened them. End with using a computer spell checker or reading backwards word by word. Leave yourself enough time. Sleep over the manuscript before your final submission. Proofread and proofread again if you need to. And ask a friend to read your paper. Now, individualize the act of proofreading. This is from a handout given by the University of Southern California. Again, the link is up there. You can go through it yourself also. Think about what errors you typically make. Make a list of the errors. I told you. The other error I tend to make is I will leave the words, half. So, instead of writing ask, I just wrote as and moved on. So, many times, so you make a list of the mistakes that you tend to make. Then, learn how to fix those errors. Okay. Use specific strategies. So, when I do it, I try these days to proofread my document before I come to the class. Sometimes I am not able to do it and these mistakes remain. Where you proofread is important. You must proofread in a place where you have very few distractions, where you are able to focus on your document. Proofread in several short blocks of time. Suggestions for the use of tense. Now, this is very, very important. Different kinds of tense that you can use for different parts of your document. For your abstract, use past tense, a summary description of what you did. For your introduction, use present tense. I am describing the study to you now. So, this is what I did, this is what I am describing to you. Okay. Literature review. Use past tense. The studies you are reviewing have already been written. Methodology. Use past tense. This is the way that you gathered and synthesized data that has already happened. Otherwise, how could you write your paper? So, methodology is a study of methods. It is technically part of the literature review. Methods are what you have done. Okay. So, that is what you need to do here. So, write it in the past tense. Results must be written in past tense. The findings have already been discovered. So, that must be indicated in the past tense, and the discussion must be presented in the present tense. I am talking to you now about how I interpreted the findings. So, the discussion analysis must be in the past tense, discussion is in the present tense, and the conclusion is in the present tense. I am summarizing the study for you now. So, various suggestions are there for how you can use tense in your paper. So, let us go through this once again. What we have talked about here is proofreading, editing and proofreading. Just make sure that you go through each word and make the remove the mistakes or take care of the mistakes that you have made, and then you wind up your document. Now, this is all we have time for in this lecture. I know this is very short, but this is a separate lecture by itself that will help you understand. Now, you can develop your own strategies for proofreading. What I really like to do in proofreading is that when I am proofreading, I like to print my document on a page with at least say 1.5 to 2 inch margins on either side. That helps me underline and make notes on either side when I am doing it by hand. If I do it on the computer, I like to proofread my document using the review function. Let me show you how that works. I will just pull it up for you, and I am going to use this particular text to show you how we can do it on a Word document. My students have asked me, so I can, maybe I can take this opportunity to show it to you here. Copy. And I say paste. Okay. So, maybe I have pasted this. Now, what I do is I go to the review portion. Okay. And I would like to track changes here. And here. Okay. So, not sure why this is not working. Okay. Sorry about this. So, here it comes here, all right. Now, I want to show the markup. Okay. Now, in this particular format of Word, I am not sure why it is not coming in a different color. It typically comes up in a different color. Now, maybe I want to add comments here. So, why describe why past tense should be used. Now, this is the kind of comment I would give to my student. All right. Okay. Here, this is what I was looking for. So, all markup. Okay. So, what I have done is I do not want simple markup, I want to see every change that has been made. So, when I am revising proofreading, especially revising or proofreading, this is something that I can use. So, past tense, the abstract is what has been added. Now, a comment must be made here, or when you are doing this, I am describing the study to you now. So, I say that the introduction refers to my description of the study to you now, and I say explain. And so, as the editor, of course, we will come to that part a little later. So, you might, these are the kinds of comments that you can make for yourself and you can address them. And then when you want to get rid of all this, the final paper, you do not want all these changes. So, what do? You say you have already described, say let us assume the description has already happened. So, you delete the comment after making the changes, and then to remove all this in the final version, you say no markup. Okay. So, all that goes, however, it remains in the paper's memory, and you say show markups and you say all markup, and so the next time you want to revisit the paper, the markup comes in a different manner. Now, what happens is when you say file saves, you send the file to somebody, somebody makes, or maybe your teacher makes some different comments. So, you say okay, my documents, training, okay. So, research writing training, I do this here. Then I want to close this and I want to open another document here. Somebody else opens the same document here. So, what do? We say okay, open research writing, and I want to do something else here. So, I go to the review button, I say all markup, and I say here. Now, this is on the same computer on the same date. So, probably the color will remain the same. After it goes to a different computer, the color of the text will automatically change. The computer changes the color. Okay. So, that is what you do. So, you can see everybody's comments here, and I say refer to comment so and so. I have deleted that comment, so I can't go back to it again. But so, whenever somebody gives you a comment, you just sort of address it there and then. So, this is how you use the review function in the MS Word, and you make your changes and then you accept those changes. Now, if you want to accept this, you do not want the red color here. What you can do is that you accept, 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 accept. That will get rid of the markup. Okay. So, if you feel that the markup can, the other person receiving your file will not know how to remove the markup, or sometimes when you try to print even with no markup, the marked up copy gets printed. So, what you do is you just go and you accept the changes that have been made. So, the computer does not keep track of the changes that have been made. So, you go here and you say accept, or you say I do not want to use this. So, you reject these changes, you say no, I will not use this. So, you reject these changes. Okay. So, you either accept or reject the changes that you have made, depending on, again while proofreading you will have to do this. You can do this during your revision, and then you accept the document and then you save it, and then you get of course send it for publication. Okay. So, this is the way you edit, and this is how you present your document. That is all we have time for in this lecture. We will continue, we will start wrapping up the discussion on research writing in the upcoming classes. Thank you very much for listening.